Wow. So, that happened. I've been at this YouTuber thing for like 9 years. Not consecutively, honestly. I've sort of fallen out of making YouTube videos on and off for that 9-year time frame. Initially, I started out with Let's Play content, which, for what it was worth, was fun, but obviously wasn't super interesting to me just because everybody was kind of doing it, and I don't know, I feel like doing the video essay stuff has been a lot more fulfilling for me, personally. I feel like I have been improving over time, especially lately, and even though my following is still small, it is interesting to look back on these older videos and be like, wow, look at him go. That sure was stupid. It's a cool thing too, because my lucky number is actually 9. I didn't intend for that at all, it just kinda happened, but I don't know. Doubly cool that the 100 subscriber, benchmark happened around the videos for the games that were super important to me, probably the most important to my sorta upbringing. Also, yeah, lucky number reveal, I guess. I guess I need to do something here to actually, mark the occasion, though. How do people even do this? I could do a face reveal, I guess. Yo. No, that doesn't really work. My face shows up in a lot of older videos anyway. I need to do something special and unique and important to me, right? Well, I have one idea. Hello everybody, this is Prince Mouse, and welcome to Yikonia. For a really, really long time, I've sort of had a project in the back of my mind just kind of sitting there gathering dust, until I could actually find an opportunity to release it into the world. It was a project so ambitious that I was so sure it was going to be my Magnum Opus. But the thing is, you can't really predict a Magnum Opus necessarily. The name of this project was Yikonia, and it was supposed to be everything I've ever wanted. I've always had issues trying to describe Yikonia to other people, because it's one of those things that I don't think you could sum up pretty concisely necessarily. Usually whenever I get people interested in Yikonia, it's one of those things where the more I talk about it, the more I explain the premise, the more people get interested in it. But to give sort of a ballpark summary of what Yikonia is supposed to be, it was basically a super modded, faction-based survival SMP for Minecraft. The premise was something so transformative that you could basically apply it to any game that has sort of those facets a part of them. If you could mod it, if you could make factions, and if there was survival mechanics in it, then you can put Yikonia in basically any game. But I wanted Minecraft to be the start of that idea, because to me it was kind of its truest form, basically. This is gonna kinda sound like a tangent, but the Fire Emblem series is one that I hold really close to my heart as well. It's sort of the series that taught me how to be a leader, and taught me that the strengths of the individual were something to not at all be slept on. That the things that people are individually capable of are unique, useful, interesting, and ultimately makes a person what they are. And Yikonia was kinda supposed to help cement that. I wanted each individual player to have a presence by way of basically picking a mod that they wanted to focus on, and then them being kind of known for that in a given faction. There was more than a handful of magic mods, and more than a handful of tech mods and stuff like that. And depending on how involved a person can be with an individual mod, that would help build sort of the culture of the faction. Especially if this person was a leader of the faction, or just had a long playtime. If somebody went full force into magic, you would see marble pillars and stone structures with all these little runes on them and stuff, and that would help comprise the buildings and the outside wall and the defenses and stuff. Because don't forget, this was supposed to be PvP focused as well. The threat of an enemy faction was supposed to be ever present, and they would bring their own dangers and capabilities to the table. Incorporating things like the tech mods or the magic mods or things like Tinker's Construct with a progression system means that there would be legitimate research and development being built between the factions. And even the lesser used mechanics in those mods would find use depending on how useful they were in a sort of war scenario. There was a lot of mods in Yikonia, and most of them were so big that you couldn't feasibly do everything that every mod had to offer. So specialization was sort of the name of the game here. But the PvP aspect of it was really important too. I wanted battles to take place that made history in this weird little tiny project I made. That was still somehow too big for even me to do. Or I guess just for me to orchestrate. I wanted tensions to rise both in and between the factions. I wanted specific player names to be feared and revered. And I wanted to be a part of histories and stories that could only be done with something like this. Whole swaths of armies fighting each other over some sort of generated structure or some sort of settlement, with a lone hero or a lone squad to do their own thing and end up winning the battle just barely. And that's the thing that made Yikonia special to me and to everybody else that played it. It was a phenomenon, but only to us, our tiny group of people just trying to make something work. Yikonia represents kind of a lot of things to me, but as it currently stands, it hurts a little bit. So far, I've been putting a lot of pretense whenever I talk about Yikonia, and it's not just because it happened in the past. A lot of was's and I wishes and such. Now, that's because we didn't really make it work. It kinda failed. This whole project was not as popular as I was hoping it would get. Nowhere close, actually. And I'd like to imagine that's for a handful of reasons. For one, I didn't necessarily have a following starting out, and there wasn't much of a hook here necessarily. We never really actually did any of the PvP stuff that we wanted to do for Yikonia, just because nobody wanted to separate from their own faction necessarily. There wasn't incentive to go out and fight somebody else, other than for the sake of doing it, but in a weird sort of mutually assured destruction kind of a way. Doing so would obviously invite the ire of the other faction. And because it wasn't established that we wanted to start any of that yet, nobody ever started anything. That, and then also just the player base was too small, which, you know, didn't help either. But it's weird though, going back and getting all this old footage made me kinda nostalgic for that. Not only for what Yikonia ended up being, but also, of course, what it could have been. These videos are old and cringy, and I wouldn't recommend anyone ever look them up. There's nothing interesting here, and it's just gonna make you really bored and probably make you lose brain cells. But I still miss it, and I especially miss what could have been. I wanted to save sort of the melancholic tones for another video. One relegating to SSX or something, because of what that series would eventually be. But I mean, there's a first time for everything, and may as well be the 100 subscriber special, I guess. Yikonia kinda represented everything to me. Sort of the sum of my parts that I wanted to show to the world and be proud of, you know, having a stamp on just sort of entertainment in general in a way that was definitively me, you know. Yikonia is a lot of things. It's community, and it's staking your name, and it's playing a video game. I don't know. I just miss it a lot. And I think I want to do it again, honestly. With a smaller scale, a little bit more rules, and an actual focus on making it entertaining. Just starting with it new, you know, being wiser about the whole thing. That's what I want. I want to do it again. I don't know when, but I guess you can count this as an official announcement that Yikonia's coming back in some form. Mostly unchanged, but at least starting smaller. Because the good thing about a project like this is that I can just do it again whenever I want to, whenever I feel I'm ready. And I don't know if I'm ready now, but I think I will be soon. And I'm excited. I get excited every time I think about it. So yeah, there's that. I hope y'all can stick around. Thanks for 100 subscribers, everybody. It means the world to me, honestly. And yeah, I guess that's it. Real fast, I just want to give this the time of day in its own light, but thank you again for 100 subscribers, everybody. It really does mean a lot to me because of how long I've been trying to get this to work. And I've been really glad that I actually found a niche that I can enjoy. One that other people seem to like too. I feel like every video I'm rapidly improving with each release. And I gotta say, I have no intention of stopping this time. I want to keep this train rolling as long as I can because I'm having a good time with it, honestly. Every comment on my discussion-based videos, whether they be constructive or nice or even just the ones that are just talking shit, I kinda value that a lot, being able to actually talk with people and have a discussion over stuff. Things that I missed or things that people want me to talk about or, you know, just whatever. And yeah, I don't know, just having that connection is really cool to me, I think. But yeah, I think that's gonna be it for me. I hope y'all have a good day, and I'll see y'all again here at 500 subscribers. Have a good day, everybody.